All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad, he, him, and I want to welcome everybody to the CSRN Video Minutes. It's really a podcast. We've been calling it Video Minutes for quite some time. And I was talking to Jody earlier, and he was telling me to kind of level up on the language and definitions of things. So, welcome to the podcast. As I'm Brother Washington Muhammad, one of the co-founders of CSRN, and today I have on. Where did Jody go?
I don't
Well,
know.
Jody goes with with Jody, just as in the community, he pops up anywhere. So he's liable to pop up on this podcast as we talk about things that are going on in the community, some of the things that we've done in the past few weeks, and some of the things that we're planning in the future. All right, as you see, it's kind of different because all of us are at our own remote locations. Man, I think that Ruth and Jody wins the background battle today. All right, I look like I'm in something from a Liam Neeson movie. Give me back my son. But anyway, today I've got on no hat. I shaved today, shaved my head today. I've got my glasses on. I've got a burgundy or maroon sweatsuit today, and it says FOI. This is Black History Month, and the FOI is that stands for Fruit of Islam. Is one of the members of the Nation of Islam. That's the name given to the military part of the Nation of Islam. And yes, we do have some active gears, not just bow ties and suits all of the time.
Yeah.
Right. And I want to thank, I will always give a big thanks to Mike Leonardi, Drabil Bay, Kamasi Kush, Ebony Burks, Stephen Vines of the Artistic Creative Vines family of Toledo, for bringing me into this Solidarity Day concept that you can advocate for justice, you can advocate for equality, and you don't necessarily have to be a preacher, politician, or professional to do it. And it's great to be able to see how their vision is evolving and the things that we're doing in the community. So, and as always, I'm dedicated and committed to defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the CSRN podcast slash video minutes. What I want to do next is to bring Jody in. All right. And I think Jody's going to have our mission statement if Jody could stay in. All right. And I'm sure that he can. Hey, Jody, could you introduce yourself? Describe or description of what Jody Summers, Child of the System, Spoken Truth, Tears of the Wounded is all about.
All righty. Well, my signal strength isn't too great over here, so I'm getting bits and pieces of everything. I'm going to try and do the best I can right now because I don't know. I guess I just ain't got the signal strength to. There we go. Work on StreamYard, but for as long as I'm in until it kicks me out again, I am Jody. Jay Silver's Child of the System, better known as Spoken Truth, author, poet, illustrator, treasurer here, and a whole bunch of other organizations that I have the ability and honor to be board members of, to do stuff behind the scenes and not always need a newspaper, post, or something to make sure good work gets done in the community. I'm hoping that's a question you were asking me. I'm a brown-skinned big bear of a man covered in tattoos and crystals and a whole bunch of other stuff. So hopefully this is coming through clear for everybody. I don't know. Did we do the mission statement already? Because again, I'm getting bits and pieces here.
Jody, you can go ahead and do the mission statement.
So we still have to do the mission statement. I think she said we still have to do the mission statement. Hopefully this works for you guys again.
Jody, go ahead and do the mission statement.
All righty. So Blizzard and everything, but we keep going, we keep striving and figuring out ways to succeed. So this is our mission statement. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer, of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive community-based events that help foster development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law, equal justice applied to all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives must matter. And injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
All right, thank you, Jody. And I think one of the things that Jody also didn't mention of all of the things that he does, he also serves as our treasurer, and that's probably the only recognizable title that we have, because sometimes people might want to help us out with the billboard or our bailout Black mamas, and when we collect our nickels, dimes, and pennies, Jody is an intricate part of that, making sure that those pennies and nickels go where it's supposed to. And we thank you, Jody, for, shouldering all of that. Hey, look, let's bring on Ruth, our lead administrative core, to bring our guiding principles in and really what they are, what they mean, and why they're important. Ruth?
Hello, for joining in with CSRN's Video Minutes. My name is Ruth Leonard. I am a dark brown skinned woman. I am currently wearing a gold chain with a t-shirt that has an image of a Black woman who is crying with the American flag across her mouth. In her hair is an afro, and inside of the afro inscribed are the names of men and women who have been killed by police violence. So our guiding principles are basically the way that we run these meetings. It is the easiest way to identify the purpose that we serve, not only to ourselves, but to our community. So CSRN guiding principles: all Black lives matter, queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, differently abled Black lives, Black women's lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children's lives. All Black lives matter and are creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. And at the end of each principle, we state Ashe. And Ashe, Brother Washington, means
one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen.
Excellent. So Ashe, and then you say Ashe. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we are currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe. Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe. Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be part of all our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe. Principled struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe. Love, self-love, practice in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe. 360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe. Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe. The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership, at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe. Finally, training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and our leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe. Hey, thank you, Ruth. Hey, before we take a short break, I wanted to make sure when we come back, I've got to mention Joe Dewey and Mike Holt. I didn't put their names on our agenda. They're doing some awesome things in the community, and I didn't want to leave them out. And also for all those who are watching, in the chat, say what's up, say hello. We really want to hear from everybody, and we thank you for joining us. So, hey, look, let's take a short break. Come right back. CSRN Video Minutes /podcast. Come right back.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back, CSRN Video Minutes. This is our weekly podcast. Look, before we bring Ruth in to discuss some of the things that we've got planned regarding the Black Lives Matter Awards, some of our speaking engagements that we have coming up, and also to talk about the Citizen Review Board, I wanted to highlight something real quick. There's two guys in the community that's really stepping up. One of them is Mike Holt. Friend him on Facebook. He has some really good discussion on qualified immunity. And Joe Dewey, he recently gifted CSRN with a beautiful picture. I have no idea why I don't have it with me. All right. I've been thinking about this all week that, hey, look, I'm going to show everybody this picture that Joe gave us. I'm going to make sure I bring it in and the snow hit, and wherever that picture is, it's at one of our buildings. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. Before we bring up Ruth, I want to just talk about some mental health and wellness. As protesters and activists and concerned citizens, I really think that the pressures of speaking truth to power, the pressures of highlighting injustice can take a toll on the person. And we've come up with this thing called the activist PSI. That's your protester stress indicator. And it's beautiful that we're living a time now of activists that we can really assess our health from protest to protest, from initiative to initiative. And we're more than just people holding up signs. We have families, we have jobs, we have lives, and people are in our lives. And the protester stress indicator, just from 1 to 10, to gauge your level of anxiety, anger, fear, depression that's attached to always finding or identifying things in the community. And without this, it's not without this, and leaving it unattended can result in burnout, compassion fatigue, and even compromise your health. So try your best to type in Google grounding techniques. A few of the things that I do, I make sure that I drink enough water. I make sure that I find some quiet time every day to do some self-assessing. What am I stressed out about? Is it something that I could do? Um, do I have anybody to call to talk to? And just addressing your mental health doesn't mean that you're going to be medicated. Addressing your mental health doesn't mean that I'm going to be lying on someone's couch talking about, my life. But we have to address our mental health, especially and particularly us as as activists, as protesters. We're much more than people holding up signs. We're much more than people who appear angry. It's just that we're compassionate about what we do. So that's your protester stress indicator. Helps you assess your mental health, your PSI, your activist PSI, and activism is starting to be a science now. We just don't haphazardly show up at a corner. These things are well thought out. If you've ever heard Ruth speak, if you ever heard Julian speak or Jody speak, none of these things are last minute. We think about what we want to do. We think about what we want to say. We have other selves. We're considerate of other selves who may be listening so that we can bring everybody in. So I just wanted to highlight that, Ruth, before we go into the Black Lives Matter Awards, the Citizens Review Board, and all of the things that we planned coming up. So let me pass it on to Ruth. If you can discuss some of the things that we have coming up regarding Black Lives Matter Awards, really, and whatever else you have planned. What's going on, Ruth?
All right, Brother Washington with the PSI PSA.
All right.
With that. All righty. So let's see. We're talking about the Black Lives Matter Awards. Is that what I'm jumping in with?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I am super excited about the Black Lives Matter Awards. We have gotten our final count for our individuals who will be awarded with a 2021 CSRN Virtual Black Lives Matter Award recognition. We had some great submissions, but I want to give you all the first two that we have today. They have been contacted and they know that they are winners not only in our hearts but also throughout the community. So our first shout out is for Sonia Ramel. Let's give her a round of applause. Woo! Sonia Ramel is the owner of Urban Holistics, and we will be reading her bio and chatting with her at our virtual Black Lives Matter Awards, which will be happening, I believe, February 28th. Tickets will be available very soon, and we are so excited to Sonia Ramel, but also to Chris Pope, the owner of Exclusive Touch Auto Detailing. Woo! Let's give it up for Chris. So these are just the first two individuals who we wanted to give recognition to, who received names and submissions from community members who definitely just love what everyone is doing or love what you're doing in the community. So we wanted to be the first ones to give you guys a shout out. So congratulations to Sonia and Chris for receiving recognition for the 2021 CSRN Virtual Black Lives Matter Awards. Again, that's this February 28th, right here.
All right, thank you, Ruth. Earlier this week, not only talking about the Black Lives Matter Awards, and thanks for highlighting Chris and Sonia. Both of these people started with Sonia started with maybe a bag of dirt, all right, and a thought that she could impact the community, in a different way. And if you go to the corner of, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Pinewood and City Park. That's where the old the Art Tatum house is. So I hope I'm saying that street right, but if you know where the Art Tatum House is, go there. Look at what this lady has done with just the empty lot, and come back in the spring when she starts growing again and she involves everybody to be a part of it. She leaves nobody out. And thank you also for highlighting Chris Pope, whom I said last week. He had started with pretty much a bucket and a water hose, and he really gave a different take to operating a business in the community, starting in a garage, and now having a freestanding business. In really keeping up the business, I wanted to ask you, Ruth, regarding the Citizen Review Board. Has there been any movement on the Citizen Review Board? Why should we care about the Citizen Review Board? And why is it so important that CSRN is a part of this process?
So the Toledo Citizen Review Board is still in a holding pattern, basically. The information was given to all members of City Council back in July, I believe, and it's currently still sitting in committee. At this point, we have to apply pressure to members of City Council to have some sort of forward movement. We know what happens when you just sit and you wait for the powers that be to make the right decision. Oftentimes, you die waiting. We are no longer at a point in not only our collective history, but in just the state of where we are currently today. We can no longer wait. Waiting is what got us to this point, and we know that it can be so much better. So the main strategy would be to attend City Council meetings, however they happen, whichever committee it particularly is, because all members of City Council have received this information. All members of City Council know that we expect something to be done. We didn't just submit this legislation to have a civilian review board that had teeth. We didn't just submit it for our own, kicks and giggles. Like, we want actual change. So emailing your City Council person, whether it's per district or at large, to just remind them, hey, we want a civilian review board. We expect for the legislation that was brought about months ago to have some forward movement. Now, that's strictly with the Civilian Review Board. Now, there are other opportunities that are in the works. Thanks to some work with Lucas County commissioners, there have been some initiatives that have been put in place to help our neighborhoods and our communities. Is it enough? No. Is it a start? Yes. What has to happen now is another collection of meetings that thankfully I am a part of, so I can keep an eye on the progress, if any is being made, and keep you all informed about that. I believe that Jason Daniels had a meeting with the Lucas County commissioners where he spoke, I want to say at length, about the MacArthur Foundation, the awarding of $96,000 to the city of Toledo. And now we're looking at things like a line item budget to figure out how is that money going to actually help our community? How much of this grant is going to go back into our neighborhoods as opposed to things like the police department? So we have a lot of questions that need a lot of answers. And so the best I can do is keep you all informed as to whatever these meetings birth out. I do want to say that, oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I do want to say, however, that I am very excited about the potential of the MacArthur Grant to help our communities. And with that being said, oh, that's what it was, the mayor's meeting with the police community accountability. It was rescheduled due to inclement weather. I believe it will, they rescheduled it for next month. So unfortunately, we have to wait a full 31 days before we can attempt to have any forward progress. Again, meetings on top of meetings. I'm keeping you informed as much as I can. And I believe with that, we're going to take a short break and then come back with Brother Washington. These are the CSRN video minutes.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
Hey, well, all right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Ruth, one of the things that I think we left off was, and I've been every week I'm asked because we talk about our yard signs, and I drive a truck through Toledo with Black Lives Matter, defund the police on it, and so far people have left me alone pretty much. All right, people have been telling me that I'm number one, but I think they're raising the wrong finger, but that's all right. That's all right. That's neither here nor there.
That's right.
But
Can't win them all.
no, absolutely. And that's part of self-care. All right. Recognizing that whenever we stand up to point out injustice, we can expect some pushback. Mm-hmm. All right. We can expect some pushback. And who are we to say that we want to do this type of work and not expect it to be tried? You know, so we welcome everyone to pull up. You know, we're not hard to find. So, you know, I wanted to ask about the refund Toledo. Okay. How does that play into, because you talked about the budget from the MacArthur Grant, and you talked about making sure that it goes where it's supposed to. How does that fit into our refund Toledo?
Oh, yeah. So basically, Refund Toledo is our decision as a community to reallocate the budget for the city of Toledo. Because when you look at the overall budget for the city, for Lucas County, or for the county, I'm sorry, you see that 33% of every tax dollar that goes into the city goes directly to the police, whereas neighborhood and development gets nothing. The Youth Commission has successfully been disbanded, and thankfully you have a few city council members who want to bring that Youth Commission back, but you still have to find that money. So when you reallocate a budget of that size, you realize that there is money that can be used to make our parks more safe, to give our neighborhoods beautification the same way that other neighborhoods, white neighborhoods, are able to band together and do that work collectively. The resources aren't there for our Black communities to do that. So when you look at reallocating, instead of those police cars that circle the neighborhood, now you have community gardens, and you have resources to pour into that community garden, so that now, number one, you know how to live off the land. Number two, you know how to create food that you grow. Because like you say, Brother Washington, growing your own food is like printing your own money, right?
That's right.
Okay, so when you look at reallocating the budget from the police, now you can pour into things like universal pre-K to make sure our babies are showing up to school with enough content knowledge to be able to function just as tiny human beings. Now you're giving them the tools, the foundations, and the building blocks because you're pouring into those communities. Reallocation and proper funding and paying attention to the line items of these $1 million and $100,000 budgets is what keeps communities safe, because it's not the amount of police that keep a community safe. It's the amount of resources that makes a community safe. So we want to make sure that instead of over policing or policing the wrong thing, instead of constantly showing up to harass our young Black men and women, We are now showing up and giving them opportunities to grow, giving them opportunities to learn, giving them an opportunity to have a chance in this world. That's what reallocating and refunding Toledo means. That's what defunding the police means. Defunding TPD means that you are refunding the citizens of Toledo.
And I'm glad that you said that, because when we first, maybe a couple of years ago, when the abolition movement was making a comeback, at least making a comeback in our neighborhood, and intertwining with, our brand of activism, people looked at that different. And then we heard the term disband the police.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to have some terms that's going to shock the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard doing this type of work with very soft language.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows where you're coming from when we say, everybody, you could do better in Toledo. Okay, who
All
who
right.
is the who is the you? I don't know if they live on my street. All right, if those people live on my street. So in our language, we are very direct in our language. We are very much to the point. There's just so much that we could put on a yard sign.
Mm-hmm.
So it might say Black Lives Matter because we don't have enough space for the asterisk in the small print.
Right.
We might say refund Toledo or defund the police because we can't put all of the other stuff that makes people that we can't put everything in there. Come and talk to us and we'll tell you what it means. Of course, Black Lives Matter doesn't mean that we don't like anybody else. Defunding the police does not mean we're getting rid of the police.
Mm-hmm.
But we really want to talk about the systematic um, expression of white supremacy and how law enforcement engages our community. And we know that we're taxpayers, and we give the city of Toledo our taxes to keep us safe. And if we believe and if we know and have researched that it's not happening, then why are we paying into something that's not giving the best results? And if we studied and find some best practice policies that make communities safer, then hey, listen, instead of buying another tank, instead of buying another assault vehicle, how about taking those millions of dollars and doing something else, with them? And it's okay to challenge it. It's okay to say some uncomfortable things to government, and we hold them accountable. We hold all of us, accountable. So I just wanted to say that. Hey, listen, I see Jody is back. For some reason or another, Jody disappeared. So I kind of had to do a soft shoe until Jody came back. So I'm hardly ever lost for words. Hey, Jody, also, we wanted to talk about our shout outs and our solutions. There's a lot of people in our community that's really making it happen, and sometimes they're unsung. And also, we want to talk about how does art play into that. Jody.
All righty. So again, it seems like my connection doesn't like me over here. This happens to be me and everything like that. But we're gonna try and make it work. Hopefully, it sounds better to the viewers and all of that stuff because I have no idea. Again, trying something new. But definitely shout outs to the community. Again, right now, we got a blizzard. It's kind of like we just got our curfew lifted after almost a complete year since last March to where it was 11. They kind of gave us that, the daylight savings time. And then last Thursday, we came back. So arts, entertainments, bars, nightclubs, venues, all that stuff can kind of try and stop being strangled by not having customers. Again, you still need to wear a mask, you still need to social distance, but at least now you don't have a 10 p.m. bedtime. So at that point, I'm gonna move on to the shout outs because there's a lot of people doing good work. Couple people I want to shout out is Chris Meeker from the Emerald's Food Pantry. She and me have been doing a lot of stuff since last year, helping out homeless people and then doing blessing pizzas and fundraisers and stuff. Also, want to give a shout out to Nicola at the Colors Art Gallery in that plaza right there off of Monroe. I can't think of the exact name of it, but she's been having events and trying to give people like some sip and paint and some other activities to do that keep you out of depression and isolation and stuff. Shout out to Tracy Haynes. He's been exceptional as putting himself as the face of not only a nightclub business and helping other artists achieve stuff, but working on his own stuff. I think they just had a thing at Kips for Valentine's Day, and a couple days before that, he had like a 3-day weekend inviting people like me who've kind of lost our stage, artists and entertainers and performers, to get some real, express that, real work done with the live audience. To me, this is always going to feel like rehearsal. There's no distractions. There's no nothing. I could be reading off a script, and some people is probably listening and stuff, but it's different. Shout out to Montrese, Terry. He's been out there a lot. I saw him today as I was going down my timeline, making a funny video and shoveling people's yards and everything like that. Got a Dave. Shout out to Rashawn Jones. I see him continually being active. Chris McBrayer. Who else? Tremaine. I was going to get your name wrong, but I'm going to try it. Tremaine Rayford. But at the program, he's been doing excellent work with young men, and I think they have like a Thai program plus other stuff. But yeah, it's been difficult out here as far as trying to keep your creativity and trying to keep people encouraged. Like Ruth was saying earlier, we don't have a youth or an arts commission. We have an arts commission, but I mean a youth commission that is funded to actually get, like, everybody staring at the screen. There's nothing really for them to do. Yay, as adults, we can go get drunk a little bit longer, but that still leaves the kids all day long either staring at the screen because they're on school. Because honestly, I don't know whether they're in school or back in school. I hear stuff from some teachers I know, but there's no activities for them. There's really nothing much for them to do. And a shout out to the people that make that possible. Other shout outs, I guess I want to say, because I'm going to go into the political world of mine now. Shout out to Michael Ashford. He just became the new Lucas County recorder, and I was very happy as a Central Committee member to make that vote. I've known him for a long time, ever since when PIC, which was another after schools program for kids that we could work and stuff like that, was around. He was at the William Palmer, and very, very proud of seeing that going on, at least in the political world, to jump in that scene. So I think that's, yeah, shout outs to everybody, every entrepreneur too, that's out there making sure, I'm one of those too, that their business is growing. It is difficult. We've had to change our platforms to where you can't come into the store to know the soul of our products, to point, click, and learn to figure out life through that minutia. So shout out to all of the entrepreneurs, all the business owners, all the city workers, all the nurses, all the custodians. Custodians don't get a lot of thank yous in this. The grocery store workers, but they put their lives at risk just like anybody else. So bartenders, security, nightclub people, thank you for your service and keeping the world sane while it was losing its mind. I think that was my section. But was there another question? Oh, I didn't go dark again, did I?
Yeah, if you could put me in. Yeah,
Okay.
I did have another question. Recently, I found out that not only you're an author, of course, a poet, a chef, but recently you've been elected to another board.
I've had some shoulder taps and stuff.
Okay.
People ask me stuff. Again, I do a lot. For people that only get to know me on social media, it's kind of like my journal. It's kind of like the place where I can get some of the minutia. But the people that know me, like Brother Washington and Ruth or People that I work in the entertainment field with, like Deborah Sue or Magnova, different sides. In total, I would say I have, well, just what social media sees is 895 groups. My 26th page just opened. Um, what, 4 or 5 different social media sites. But within that, of course, I'm an elected official. I still do try and do as much stuff political, like give people information in person. The online world that we just went through with the beginning of the 2020 pandemic, just she grew up and was able to drink, it's been difficult. I miss the fundraisers, I miss the political meetings, and I am a part of a lot of boards. You may see my signature or me mentioned somewhere is the little thing is scrolling down because I got producer credits too. But for me, it's just encourage somebody. That's why, like, even though it's Black History Month and all that stuff, I'm also a Blackfoot, which is Native American. And my grandfather was Irish or Norwegian. So I have a lot going on at all the time.
Yeah, you
I
do.
yeah,
I shouldn't be
I
laughing, but hey, you got a lot going on. Oh,
yeah, I'm
hey,
trying to cut it short here because I don't want to be, too long-winded. But I would say support somebody, even though we are CSRN and we got the BLM side, but we're on everybody. We support local, support your community. As Ruth was talking passionately about where your dollars go, you can call me a Black author and all the other terms that I got and put Black in front of it. But at the end of the day, I'm a person. Started out on park bench, less than lint in my pocket, scribbles on freaking pen and paper from printer paper. And now I get to help people and pay for funerals and stuff like that. So it's inspirational to think about, but don't just think about it during Black History Month.
all right. Hey, look, I see Ruth is giving us that side, and you know what you know what that means, Jody. So listen, we're gonna take a 30-second break. I think she's gonna maybe run two of our commercials of some of the people that we love and hold dear, and we'll be coming right back. So stay tuned. CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast. Be right back.
Hey, I can see the commercial.
I wonder if we can hear it.
Yep, we got the menu.
All right, Ruth. Hey, listen, we're back. That last commercial that we showed, I don't know. I didn't hear the sound. I don't know if anybody else heard the sound. Was
Oh,
there sound? Was the sound associated
there
with
should have been sound.
because Reverend Perryman is going to give me a call. He's going to say, "Hey, look, Brother Washington, I thought you were about that work. I thought you would ride till the wheels fall off. However, when our commercial shows, it has no sound. So I'm asking you if it didn't have sound. I'm like, okay, but if it did,
Okay, so I believe it did have sound. I'm going to try to play it again.
okay.
Okay, so let's see.
Do democracy. Vote. You got it.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll just say it like this. It started out fine. Then, are you muted?
Oh
Okay.
gosh.
It started out fine, but I don't,
We're
hey,
going to get the NAACP video.
yeah, and don't mute yourself. I think if you muted yourself, it muted the video. Let's see
Okay,
if it happens.
let's try.
Do democracy. Vote. You got it. Use it.
Vote. Demand democracy. Advocate for criminal, social, and environmental justice for all.
Engage in democracy. Run for office. You can be mayor, governor, president. Just run. Democracy is powered by people like you and me. Vote, advocate, engage. Visit naacp.org or text DEMAND to 40649 for more information.
All right. All right.
How about
Now,
now?
that's great. And it probably appeared that I'm back in the good graces again with the president of the NAACP Toledo chapter. All right. Before we wrap everything up, and we still have 5 minutes of heat with Jody. I wanted to give a shout out to Cheryl and Sabrina that was in the chat earlier, and also Brianna. We didn't mention Brianna, and she was with us last week for our presentation with the Lucas County commissioners. So what's up, Brianna?
We love
And
you,
also,
Brianna.
and also, I want you to when you get a chance, there's a lady named Patty J. Kelly. She's been a part of the movement work for quite some time, and she's trying to identify some of us in the protest culture or activist community to come together and put together an agenda for everyone to move forward regarding politics. So for if you're listening, Patty, I'm looking forward to hearing from you again. Let's meet up. Let's talk about how we can take this movement and keep things going. So I wanted to just make sure I mentioned Patty, Cheryl, Brianna, and Sabrina, and also please keep Alicia Smith in your minds and prayers. Earlier this week, she had an incident with the local police coming to her house regarding a dog barking. But it's something how they can send so many policemen for some things that, man, it really didn't have to go down like that. So she asked myself, CSRN, and other community members to speak up. So we're looking forward to Chief Crawl to get back to her and explain as best as he can. He's going to have to do what he does. We're going to have to do what we do. So for Alicia Smith, yep, we got your back as always, sister. And also we're looking out for the Junction Coalition too. All right. Before we get to our 5 minutes of heat, was there anything that we left out, Ruth? Was there any upcoming talks that we're going or speaking engagements that we've got lined up? And also for anybody that's watching, how can they help support our efforts?
So, with this being Black History Month, it is now the time that schools are beginning to reach out. And thankfully, CSRN is being tapped to help usher forward this next generation of change agents. So for this month, CSRN is scheduled to attend a panel discussion with the prep school. I believe that is in Columbus via Zoom, where we will be speaking to students about how to become politically active at such a young age. And then we were also invited to speak to the Maumee Valley Day School with their high school students, I believe. They are hosting their annual issue day. And the issue that CSRN will be speaking about is the ripple effect that we have not only as individuals, but as communities, citizens of the world, and human beings in general. So those are two very interesting talks that CSRN is excited to participate in. If you are interested in supporting CSRN financially, you can see at the bottom of the screen the ticker that's been going for most of this meeting. You can donate to us via Cash App, and that is the $CSRN419, or you can send donations to PayPal through paypal.me/CSRN419. All of the work that CSRN does is completely at, there's no, we as CSRN members do not benefit financially from any of the donations. Everything that we bring in, we pour back out into the community. That's how we have been able to host events such as Juneteenth. We were able to host, excuse me, we were able to host the other Black Lives Matter Awards back when we were out in the world. That's how we are able to host our virtual Black Lives Matter Awards. It's basically how we are able to fund everything that we do, because we know that all activities cost, and most of the time, all of the activities that we have put on or been a part of have been through donations from members like you. So we appreciate any and everyone who has donated. Shout out to Scott Herr, who sends us small donations, micro donations every week. We appreciate it. And that keeps us going. That keeps us able to keep the internet going so that we can get these meetings out to you. With that, I think we're going to take another quick break and then come back with 5 minutes of heat. Is that cool?
That's cool.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
Take it away, Jody.
Okay, I see myself again on the screen. All righty. So I have no idea what they said, but I'm guessing this is 5 minutes of heat. Again, it just seems to be me that has the worst reception of ever. And if you don't see me with my phone in my hand, that's because, again, when we're in studio or at least two of us are in one location, that's me sharing. So be prepared for anybody that's watching this live. You're about to see it go through like 100 groups and pages and flood my night for the rest of the night. But yeah, 5 minutes of heat. And I definitely want to keep this same thing as in Black History Month and what we've done with activism and the revolution. But I do want to say real quick, and I know they're already looking at me, Brother Washington and Ruth, but yeah, I'm very happy to be proud of the Black Lives Matter Awards. When we started off a few years ago, because this is technically our fourth, we just wanted to do something different, and we did. Our first awards were something similar to this, except a little bit bigger. Statues made out of wood, handcrafted in Ghana. We moved on from there to our second awards, which were an appreciation in a much larger venue from 10 to 25 people with this. I'll bring that up a little bit closer. I think y'all can see that. With awards and glass keys to the city. Now, I'm not going to show you everything that's in the box, but since we've already shown this before, and this year, one of the ideas or items that, because the box is kind of an award in itself, but there'll be some items in there, and I want to shout out to Gathered Glass, who over the pandemic, they created these lovely beauties for us and for people to purchase them. And these are going to be one of the items in the box. So it's enough of an intro for people that don't know, again, poet, author, all that stuff. I'm reading from my book, Tears of the Wounded, Volume 2, which just turned 1 years old at the beginning of this month. Launched the book and then kept it through a pandemic. So this piece here for everybody listening at home on the radio and all that stuff, this is called Dead Silence, No Justice, No Peace, which predates our group. December 5th, 2014 is when I published this. It starts chapter 2 of the book on page 22. It has a quote: "Bridges did not ask for a thank you. They are simply here to see you get to the other side." So let's begin. Peace. Reading and performing. If you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. I like this and I believe this for many years, until certain things in my life caused me to skew this image just a bit. If you stand for nothing, everything will change. Certain things that you stand for only make them remain the same. It's not about being a leader or a follower anymore. It's about what change comes out when someone screams your name. Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Eric Gardner, Ayanna Jones, Tamir Rice, Freddie Gray, John Crawford, Sandra Bland, Aaron Pope, Emmett Till. Our communities are drowning, flooded with images of being a bad dancer, doughboy, world star, Instagram celebrity, Snapchat, Backpage, OnlyFans fan. For what? It seems like no one sees the damage they do to the youth growing up. All of the images of money, needless things to buy, senseless violence, and relationships with no sense of pride seem to be the new form of enslavement. It's not just one specific race or one specific people. It's happening all around. And while you look at your phone, tablet, or latest piece of technology they throw in front of you, you are being taught to forget how to communicate. Yes, communicate with the person right in front of you. We're being raped intellectually, and we don't even care no more. Don't drink the water. Ebola is coming. ISIS and Donald Trump at your front door. And Black Lives Matter as they should to all. But we've done more damage to our own people, our own race, our own history, our own souls than any police officer's call. And until we can all stand together without race, religion, creed, background, social status and all, our whole species is destined to fall. The school system is in a state of disarray. No art, no music, no books, no transportation, no sports to play. While legislation rewrites history and calls it fact. Because we have another war to win over the horizon. Yes. And I bet you that's a fact. We are taught to believe no new friends. Don't trust them. Hold on. Make a difference. Just don't do too much. You'll find yourself left for dead for 4 hours with 47 bullets or stalked and choked inside your jail cell instead. Hands up. Don't shoot. I can't breathe. But I will speak until there's no more breath in my lungs to speak, to see my people's minds, bodies, and souls released from these evil beasts. All right, I think I pulled that off kind of well. Had to let y'all see the stick, sitting there in the background and everything. But I hope that came through clear and everything. Yeah.
All right, it came through awesome. Came through clear. Before we go, Ruth, and before we get into our solidarity pledge, I just want to remind everybody about Ban the Cam. This is Sean Nestor, Bradley Hall. They've come together to put forth some legislation and get some signatures on banning the red light camera. So make sure you look out for Sean Nestor. If you don't know him, just put him into your Facebook search. Join Ban the Cam. I should share it on our page soon too. Ruth, I think that's all. I have.
All righty. So as you can see at the bottom of the screen, that's Ban the Cam. You can look up Sean Nestor. I think we have reached the end of our Video Minutes podcast meeting. So we are going to close out with the Solidarity Pledge. And the Solidarity Pledge is stated at the end of each of our meetings. It is our commitment, not only to ourselves, but to each other, to continue to fight the good fight in this revolution. So please repeat after me. I, your name,
Brother
Jerry.
Washington,
pledge to strive,
pledge
Pledge
to
to
strive,
strive.
to love my brothers and my sisters
to love my
To love
brothers
my
and my
brothers.
sisters
as I love myself.
as I
As I
love
love
myself.
myself.
I,
I,
say your name,
Brother
Jerry
Washington,
Summers,
pledge to strive,
pledge to
pledge to
strive,
strive.
to study to improve myself
To
to
study to
study to
improve
improve
myself.
myself
spiritually,
spiritually,
Spiritually.
mentally,
mentally,
morally,
morally,
Morally.
Jody,
and physically.
and physically,
And physically.
We're going to get through this. For the benefit of myself,
For
for the
the
benefit of myself,
my family,
my family,
and
my
my people.
family,
and my people.
and my people.
I,
Say your
I,
name,
Brother Washington,
child of the
pledge to strive,
pledge to
pledge
strive,
to
to
strive.
be a part of the solution,
to be a part of the solution,
the process,
The
the
process,
process,
and not the problem.
and not the
and not the
problem.
problem.
Just say it.
I
I,
know.
I,
say your name,
spoken
Brother
truth,
Washington,
pledge to strive,
pledge to
pledge to
strive,
to
strive.
give all that I can spare
To give
to give
all
all
that I can spare
of
spare
my time,
of my time,
of
my
my time,
strength,
my strength,
my
and
strength,
energy
and energy
and energy
to achieve
the
to
above said.
achieve
the above
the
said.
above said.
Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you,
Whoa,
everyone.
oh, thank you, Jody.
Woo! All right. And remember, what do we say at the end, Brother Washington?
All lives can't matter unless Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else, peace.
Congratulations, Sonia and Chris.